Hello and welcome to the Libertarian Perspective, a discussion of state, local, and national issues with a libertarian flair. My name is Doug Kloppel. I'm the former state chairman of the Libertarian Party of Florida. We appreciate you tuning in to today's broadcast. Very fortunate to have my regular co-host, Phil Labe, who's the regional representative for the Libertarian Party of Florida for this part of the Sunshine State. Phil, welcome back and good to have you.
Good to be here, Doug.
Yeah. And we also have another guest with us, Clive Ricketts, who is the incoming chairman of the Libertarian Party of St. Johns County. And Clive, welcome to the broadcast. We look forward to getting to know you a little bit on this show.
Thanks. It's a pleasure to be here.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Well, guys, I know this is not going to come as a surprise to you, but you know, since our last taping, our friends in Washington, D.C., and Tallahassee, and even here in Jacksonville, our friends in city government have been up to all kinds of mischief, and so we've got all kinds of things to talk about. We've got an overview slide we're going to go ahead and put up that's going to talk about our topics for today's broadcast. We'll go ahead and put that up. And as I said, we're going to start with a welcome of Clive from the LP of St. Johns County. We're going to talk about the new Supreme Court nominee, Elena Kagen, and see whether or not she's a friend or foe of liberty. And I'm afraid about what the answer that we're going to come up with when we have that discussion. Charlie Crist, an independent I am. The man who changes his stripes more than anybody has decided to run as an independent, so we're going to talk a little bit about our current governor. We're going to switch our focus then to a local issue, the no-bid Trail Ridge landfill. I'll have a discussion about that and kind of dig into some of the dirty details, if you will, of that trash deal. And then in our regularly appearing segment, Government Abuse of the Month, we're going to focus on the Jacksonville City Council focusing their endless time, energy, and enthusiasm on the all-important, earth-shattering issue of internet cafes and whether or not they should be allowed. You know, talk about Nero fiddling while Rome is burning. We've got a city budget that is exploding. We've got money slipping through the cracks left and right. Budget shortfalls, incredible ones projected, but yet our elected officials choose to focus on the all-important issue of internet cafes. So just another one of those jaw droppers that as libertarians we shake our heads about a little bit. But starting off on a much more pleasant topic, we are so pleased to welcome Clive Ricketts as part of the broadcast here today. Clive, the incoming chairman of the Libertarian Party of St. Johns County, a pleasure to meet you. Why don't you introduce yourself a little bit to the audience out there and maybe let them know how you became interested in libertarianism and why you decided to take the step to be the chairman of the Libertarian Party of St. Johns County.
Okay. Well, yes. Currently a resident of St. Johns County. I moved to Jacksonville in 2002, so I guess I've been a resident right around 8 years now. And this is probably my most recent foray into politics. I was never really interested in politics a whole lot, for the most part. And what happened was, right around 2008, when we had that election cycle, which coincided, unfortunately, with the economic collapse, I began to question a lot of my principles, my beliefs, and the things that I believed in. And I came across a lot of YouTube clippings, actually, of Ron Paul and some of the things he had to say. And given my background, I have a master's, an MBA from UNF here in the local university, as well as an accounting degree that I'm happy to be wrapping up from Auburn University. I began to question a lot of the concepts and the things I learned in business school, and he introduced me to Austrian economics, which led me to the Mises Institute. And from that point on, I began to understand a lot of the liberty principles of liberty and some of the things centered around Austrian economics. And at that point on, that took off in the direction of really wanting to be more involved in politics and really understanding the role of government, the role it plays in our lives. And actually, right now, it's really playing a negative role in our lives. And there are a lot of things happening to our nation. People don't understand why, and a large portion of that is economical, and a lot of it is due to government action. So I really wanted to become involved more politically, get the message out to folks so they understand why some of the problems that we're currently experiencing are currently happening.
Well, you just made my day. You got my vote. Yeah, when are you running for office? That's absolutely right. Phil, isn't that great to find another member of the team here and somebody who discovered the Libertarian Party from an economic direction?
Absolutely. I'm very excited about what's going to happen in St. Johns County. I want to encourage people to go to meetings. St. Johns County is going to be having some meetings. When and where are you going to have your next meetings, and how can people contact you if they want to be a part of this?
Yes, our meetings are going to be on the first Wednesday of each month. So our next meeting will be June 2nd, I believe, is the first Wednesday in June. And it will be at King's Head British Pub down in St. Augustine. And our meeting times will be at 7 o'clock. They'll start at 7 and run for about an hour and about 15 minutes. So it'll end at about 8:15. And if folks want to have conversations afterwards, they can. And what we or would like to do is during the meetings we would have to spend a small portion discussing business issues and then have an individual come and speak of various topics centered around the community. And one of the things that we'd like to tackle is we have a speaker that we'd like to invite to come and speak about Amendment 4 and how that would impact the city. Particularly
the so-called hometown democracy.
Correct. So that would be the topic that we have on the table right now, tentatively for that.
Right. So that date again is the first Wednesday of the month at King's Head Pub. And for those folks that maybe that name doesn't recognize the bell, for if they're driving south on US 1 going towards St. Augustine, it's the one with the double-decker bus.
Correct.
Right. That's pretty noticeable if you've ever driven that way. So that's fantastic. You know, I'm sitting here thinking to myself as I'm looking at you two, and you know, obviously, you discovering the Austrian School of Economics and then coming to the Liberty Movement from that direction. Phil, you've shared in previous shows that you actually started from the left-hand side of the political spectrum and found this way. Isn't it interesting that no matter what direction you come from, when you discover libertarianism, libertarian principles, libertarian party, you realize that liberty is a unifying concept, isn't it? I mean, it's kind of hypocritical to be in favor of liberty, say from a left perspective in terms of civil liberty stuff, but not be in favor of economic freedom. And when you believe in economic freedom, it's a little bit hypocritical to not extend that same freedom to the sphere of personal behavior.
Sure. One of the things that I've come to realize is that liberty crosses all lines, whether it be gender, ethnicity, race, economics. It really crosses all of those lines. And the reason for that being is that each and every individual, deep down within their hearts, have a desire to be free and want to live their lives unencumbered by government action. And so the problem normally comes into play when individuals have problems that they may not agree with, and then they try to impose their will on others. And that's when government comes into play, because the only entity that can impose those is government, because it's the only entity that has that authority and the ability to do so. And that's when problems arise in our society. But if individuals will just trust in the liberty movement, because liberty is highly dependent on each one of us trusting each other.
Yes.
You know, I have to, the goods and services I purchase every day, I have to trust a lot of the manufacturers, the people who make those products for me to consume. So without trust, it doesn't work. And sometimes people don't appreciate as much the importance of trust in one another that requires for the things we have today in our society to be delivered to us. But it's all, the foundation behind it is all about liberty. And if you don't have liberty, then that trust gets eroded, and you don't enjoy the life that you want to enjoy.
Wow, very, very, very well put. Wow, powerful stuff. Well, we know that the three of us are champions of liberty, but unfortunately, as we turn the page with our first topic for the discussion of the show, we've got somebody to talk about that we're frankly not convinced that she is a friend of liberty, and basically is the new Supreme Court nominee from President Obama, Elena Kagen. We have got an overhead that we're going to put up about this. Former dean of the Harvard Law School. She's actually the first female dean of the Harvard Law School, so we certainly would applaud her on that. Perhaps one of her most notable actions in that position was barring military recruiters on campus. Of course, that seemed to be the most popular thing for all college administrators to do, so maybe we've got to cut her a little bit of slack as that. We see from the overhead here, no experience as a judge. She's been an academician. She had a White House position during the Clinton era. She's currently the Solicitor General for the White House, which means that she represents the government positions in court cases, particularly those dealing with constitutional matters. So she did issue a big opinion in the Citizens United case, the recent campaign finance thing that was, of course, in the headlines. We do have her being quoted as believing in an activist and compassionate government. And of course, I said, is this an oxymoron? Because if you believe in a quote-unquote compassionate government, that means that you are ostensibly in favor of the government forcibly taking things from some people and giving it to others, which is not necessarily my definition of being compassionate.